And this has NBC7 investigating security at local churches. NBC7's Alex Brachet took a look at 2 around town. Alex, it's so sad we even have to think about this, but what kind of measures are they taking?
Yeah, it really is sad, Catherine. But, it really depends on how big the church is. But for the pastors I talked to today, at the end of the service, there's that calling. They say the doors of the church are open. They are trying to keep the doors open while also keeping their congregation safe.
These are my commentaries.
Pastor Chris Chadwick runs Canyon Ridge Baptist over on Linda Vista Road. On any given Sunday, he has a congregation between 250 and 300 people. He and his congregation were in the middle of service when they learned about the Sutherland Springs shooting.
Is this a joke? I think that's probably what everybody kind of went through as they heard it.
This hit home for a couple of reasons.
I think of a pastor who has a 14-year-old daughter who was killed. I'm a pastor. I got a 19-year-old daughter and a 21-year-old daughter. And I'm just thinking, oh, that could have been my daughters.
But also his family lives in Texas, as do many of his friends.
Very frustrating as a pastor. Now we have to focus resources in areas that we really shouldn't have to.
Case in point, that evening he had a family service.
And somebody came in late that I wasn't familiar with, and I'd be lying if I didn't say my first thought was, okay, is everything all right?
The church has several security measures, but Pastor Chadwick tells me they have not yet opted for having uniformed armed guards, but
we have thought of that.
A short drive away in Point Loma, I caught up with the folks from the Rock²s. It has a congregation of about 15,000 across several campuses in the county. It also has a school of 1,000.
The biggest piece for us is just being present and being aware of what's going on around us to ensure that we're taking safety seriously for our congregation and for our guests.
They do employ armed uniform security and actually host an annual church security conference where they discuss active shooters, natural disasters, and child predators. But shootings like the one in Texas have prompted actions these churches tell me they didn't need to consider a generation ago.
There'll have to be some deep conversations. Will it change what we're doing? Possibly. Possibly it would.
And Catherine, like you mentioned before, these are conversations that they wish they weren't having. The Rock tells me they've had that safety seminar for the last 8 years.
Sign of the times, I guess, unfortunately. Thank you, Alex.